Shut up, Sam. Shut up. Okay. Yes. So it's saying failed to go live again for some reason, but apparently that doesn't. I mean, I should have stopped ignoring that because now there's a yellow live thing. So there we are, and we're here, and it is. Is it the Kent Beck? No, it's the Martin Fowler Scrum. I'm getting confused because we've created a new weekend Scrum called the Bob Martin Scrum. We're working through the list of 17 signatories of the Agile Manifesto. Eventually, we will have Scrums with all of their names on them. But this is the Martin Fowler Scrum. And here we have Sasha and Lara and myself. And since I'm talking, I will dive into what's going on with me. The main thing yesterday was I gave my talk about learning through pull requests at the Rails Remote Conference, which I think went reasonably well. You can read all about my angst about whether the talk was good or not in my latest blog, or not, as you just may want to sidestep that completely. But it was nice to be talking about Agile Ventures at the conference. This morning I've got the local support client meeting. I've been preparing for that, clearing out the Pivotal Tracker board, reviewing some pull requests. Yeah, things basically under control. I've kind of had a week of not doing much pairing and focusing more on admin work, and I think I am getting through the backlog, so that's all pretty good. Yes, Lara, how are things going with you?
Okay, I've had a bit of a slack coding week due to client deliveries.
Sure.
So, and I've actually also been learning a bit of JavaScript, so in the background.
Cool.
But as my evening reading. But I'm going to get back onto some coding this weekend.
Great.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Just to the pull request that you've got open on local support, that's now. I was getting, I think, confused about that yesterday. That's now updated with my branch? Is that ready to go now?
Yes.
Or is there's this?
No,
Okay.
I've got to do the test. I've got to do the tests. I've got to finish the tests, especially what Raoul suggested I do.
Okay.
For testing. So I just need to write those tomorrow, and then we should be good to go once you've approved it.
Sure. Yes. I was just getting confused about whether the mine had been pulled in, and I think that again entirely not your fault. That's I think
No. What I did was I merged your branch in.
Yeah.
To mine, so that I could see what you had done, and
yes.
then I pushed it back up to my.
You did, and in fact, I can now see the for some reason I was just sort of like scanning through, and I hadn't seen the commits, and I guess the funny thing is what it did. Actually, I'll just share my screen because this is at least marginally interesting to me. We'll see if what it's done actually here is that what is the screen that I want to show you here is that because the commits I originally made were earlier, it's actually put them in behind my comment. So I think when I scanned it and I saw like GitHub had said there's an update, and I scanned it and I thought, oh, not that right. And then anyway, it's all good. What I will say is I think that the comments, these ones from Raoul, you should find them fixed because you've merged mine. I think that the thing that may be outstanding is just that we were talking about that at the moment it only checks for the title of the top page and not for one of the individual organization pages. All right. That's the thing.
I'll check that tomorrow when I'm back on it.
Wonderful. Yes, looking forward to getting that merged. I'll be seeing the client today and getting her all excited about having that deployed. Great stuff. Nothing else blocking you otherwise pretty good.
No, other than that, nothing else.
Good show. Sasha, great to see you at this. The ambiance obviously completely different. The Kent Beck Scrum, that's a one beast. This is the Martin Fowler Scrum. You can tell it's just the whole
like totally swept away by the changes.
God, back when it was called the Euro Scrum, then those were the party days. But how are things going with you today?
Well, I've just got up. I probably look like I've just got up.
Looking they're rough and ready. That's how everybody likes people.
Yeah,
I'm told by my wife. It's the
keep digging, Sam.
Ignore me, please.
It's getting broadcast to the world. I'm waking up. I've got myself some ginger tea. That's my report.
Yes.
There was something.
Go on.
Like I was just going to say. So the toy projects I said I was working on. I mean, they are basically silly toy projects, but There was one that I thought might be of slight interest to you if I managed to finish it, which was because I watched your the link you sent me yesterday.
Oh yes, the drop.
Yeah. And I don't know if you've ever encountered a concept called Crocker's rules.
Crocker's rules.
Yeah.
I don't know that I have.
It's like it's just a sort of idea that you give that you give people permission to, and it's one way you give people permission to, when they're giving you feedback or criticism, not spare your feelings and just just be efficient as possible in communication.
Yes.
And I've always liked this idea, but the problem is getting people to believe that you like it, because people say it and don't really mean it, and then everyone feels awkward, and also just spreading the word. So I just like trying to build a tiny web app that like allows you to create a metric for yourself like that, and then people to rate you on how effectively you are efficiently communicatable with. It just occurred to me after what you were saying about like never quite knowing how sensitive to be of people's feelings when you're reviewing their work. Thought if I ever get this up, it will.
That does sound interesting. It does sound interesting. It makes me think several things. I mean, one, I think having lots of little microservices is definitely the way to go. And so, yeah, I mean, let's make it happen. We can make a channel, get people involved. The other thing it makes me think of is there was a thing that we had at Makers after you left, which was they talked about this process of what is it? It was called permission, position, and probe. Which is this lovely three-stage thing where it's like when you were giving somebody feedback that you first ask them for permission, like are you interested? And then you position, what's the feedback about, and then you sort of probe by giving the feedback. I mean, sorry, just talking about the Crocker's rules made me think of that. But yes, I think getting that level set correctly, anything. I'm just in the background. I'm looking at some Crocker's rules. I'm not immediately understanding. I think an app would be great for that. Yeah. So that's
a tiny thing. It's not something I'm going to submit to Agile Ventures because it's also my practice project for Django.
I mean, don't feel that it can't, because I would love to have a little practice Django projects. I mean, and submitting that there's so many levels between that. This is just my thing. I mean, you could just be chatting about it in the Slack Tech Talk. I mean, just or share the link. We could have a little channel. It could be. I mean, now that I'm excited about it, I just go and fork it into Agile Ventures because obviously not without your permission.
No, if you're keen, I'm happy to just.
I would love to have. I think the thing, like we had there was a guy in Hawaii working on this Django project, but then I think it ended up going closed source, and so we end up I think not having any Python Django things in the Agile Ventures Pantheon. So that would be anyway. Send me the link, and we'll have some more chat about it. But yeah, that's our Scrum. Sounds like we haven't got too much blocking. Great to see you here, Sasha. I think because we spoke yesterday in the Kent Beck, and you see obviously this is the Scrum to come to for pairing through the rest of the day. I'm not immediately available because I've got to go off to the local support meeting. I imagine Lara, you're probably not available for pairing now. By the time
is it going to be?
Well.
Yeah, I can be in it for about probably. What's the time? An hour.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you guys want to hang out and chat, by all means, be my guest. I think so. Sasha is looking to do some more pairing. I think we're going to do some pairing with him on website 1 next week. Lara's working on Met Plus and local support and various things and bits and pieces and what have you. Yeah, I've got to sort of step out and nip up the road. But if you guys want to just carry on chatting and see if there's anything I think Sasha joined Kent Beck the other day, and there was a guy who came in, and you guys had. I meant to ask you, Sasha, how did that go? You were Junior was showing you all of his Elm code, wasn't he?
I think it was good for both of us. He was obviously learning the concepts of functional coding and explained them to me as well as he could, and sort of crystallized them for himself. Process, I think.
Good stuff. So yeah, whether you pair or just compare notes about the different languages and things that you're wrestling with at the moment, be my guest.
Cool.
Mhm.
All right.
Thanks.
Well, I'll probably what I'll do is I'll go on, Sasha.
Link. I was just going to say, I've just posted.
Oh yeah, you got the link. Yes. Okay. Yes. Well, right. So this all then works, does it? It's
No. This is. I've just been through the code school Django course, so a lot of it is just random bits of drivel trying out that thing. So it's at the moment it's sort of vaguely heading towards being something, but
right.
It's at the moment very, very preliminary.
Cool. Well, I've because I'm impulsive. I've forked it into Agile Ventures just as a sort of a reminder to me that we should do more cool things like this in other languages, and also because it's almost zero effort for me on GitHub. Yeah. Well, what I'll probably do is I'll leave this running. I'll mute and go off camera, and you guys, feel free to compare notes. You're actually both boot camp graduates. Lara, Sasha graduated from Makers Academy a year or two ago, and conversely, Lara graduated from Craft Academy, which is. I guess you never met Thomas.
No, I've paired with Thomas quite a bit.
It's all intertwingled, isn't it? There we go. Yeah. So that's the Swedish boot camp. Yeah. Anyway, I will take my big mouth away, and I'll catch up with both of you real soon. Yeah.
Great.
Yep.
Ciao.
Bye.
All right. See you, Sam.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm still waiting.
Yeah, we are.
I'm kind of unemployed at the moment, so I'm living my own time schedule.
Whereabouts? UK
I'm
based?
in the UK, so it's now 11:45. I'm guessing you're South Africa?
Yeah. So what are we now? We are. Oh yeah, you're just an hour behind us. But when the clocks turn, then you 2 hours, huh?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
You're in the UK, eh?
Yeah.
Did you say? Yeah, there are. Yeah, when you turn, yeah. Because I used to have a UK client, so we always used to have to manage the different seasons when the times that your clocks change, because we don't have daylight saving here.
Lucky people.
We don't need it with the sun. That's fine.
From so far back, I don't know why we still have it. It's such a pain.
So okay, so how long have you been coding for?
So I did Makers Academy. Well, I finished Makers Academy almost just over 2 years ago now.
Okay.
And then I was working for about a year and a half until August this year. And the company I was working for had financial issues.
Jesus.
And
that's happening around the world.
Yeah, well, this was a particular thing. The CEO of the company did a weird kind of scam on them, and then they ended up getting sued and losing a lot of money very fast. So that's meant I'm back in the rat race. But yeah, it's also meant I've had a chance to come back here, which is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and get back involved.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
What languages are you fluent in? Coding languages.
Fluent. Fluent. Big word. My strongest language is Ruby by a long way. And I know a little bit of JavaScript, and I'm just learning Python at the moment. I'm generally sort of back-end-ish. So I kind of can use JavaScript fairly reluctantly, but it's mostly jQuery hacks. And yeah, I'm kind of more interested in general in learning back-end stuff. So yeah, I'm teaching myself Python at the moment. And
okay, great.
Kind of interested in a few other bits and pieces. How about you?
Well, I've been a front-end designer, developer for the past 17 years.
Wow.
And so I've always outsourced all my coding, and I've always been interested in it, and I've watched my friends code, and I've always wanted to understand and know how to do it. So Craft Academy Sweden opened the boot camp here in South Africa in July.
Oh,
And
they have a
I
separate
was,
one in South Africa.
well, we actually joined the Sweden cohort because we're on the same time zone.
Mm-hmm.
So it was quite easy. So I did it online.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the Swedish classmates were in class. Some were also were doing it online. So we used a lot of Hangouts, a lot of Slacking to do it. So yeah, and I learned a lot. So we did Ruby, we did Java, we did jQuery.
You did Java or JavaScript?
Yeah, we did a basic JavaScript and basic jQuery and a bit of Angular. But Ruby was kind of the top kind of thing that we learned really well.
Yeah.
We also learned Middleman, which is a framework. I don't know if you've worked with that before.
Just about rings a bell, but basically I haven't heard of it.
Okay, yeah. So I'm still very new. I'm like three months into coding, and I really love it. I'm just sad that I didn't do it when I was much younger.
Yeah, well, I know that feeling.
and follow that career path. So, but now I get to do it, and I joined Agile Ventures in September. And yeah, I'm just learning from all the other developers, which is great.
So what have you been doing on the site?
So I've been, on localhost, I've been doing a bit of SEO work, setting up the SEO, which has in its own turn been a bit frustrating because when it comes to doing it on a standard website, it's so easy and quick. But I've had to learn quite a bit in terms of how to incorporate it into the controller and using a gem, and now writing tests for it. So it's something that normally takes me about an hour or two has now taken me like 3 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, I was just wondering if you wanted to do some actual pairing on it now, because I don't know local support.
I would love to, but unfortunately I can't. I actually have a client delivery deadline for 2 o'clock.
Okay.
So it's a bit unfortunate. But next week, yeah, we can definitely schedule some pairing on that. And then on Met Plus, I learned something really cool, which is a job application site. So a person can apply for a job. I don't know if you know about it.
Yeah, I sort of tried to get in when what was his name? Joel was just starting it. But I found like the times everyone was working on just times I couldn't make.
Yeah, and that's what I found too. But I have just pushed through, and I've been trying to get some of my classmates from the boot camp to join in on NetPlus. But I don't know why they haven't. Just to do some pairing.
Yeah, I found the same thing when I did Makers. I kind of came to this because Sam was one of the coaches there at the time. And so I was like, oh, okay, sounds like a nice way to continue learning stuff.
Yeah.
And I kept trying to interest some of my friends from the cohort in coming, and I think I've said this to Sam and Tom a couple of times, but it's quite difficult to get in the first time. Like, you don't necessarily know anyone to get an invite to the Slack channel, which is where you really need to be to kind of feel invested in it. You can read around the site, but it leaves you with a sense of, okay, what do I do?
Yeah.
Where do I go to do it?
Sure, exactly. Yeah, and I agree. I mean, I understand that fully. There's another guy that's also just joined. His name is Segu, Sigu, and he's also he's a very keen learner. He lives in Kenya. He's 2 hours ahead of you, and he's also very keen to pair program as well. I did hook up with him yesterday just to chat about some stuff. So I kind of manage my client deadlines around, and then my obviously my day, and then try and do some coding for about 2 hours, 1 to 2 hours a day.
Mm.
So, and then I just kind of say, you know, if anybody wants to pair program, then we can.
Yeah, and I'm splitting my days at the moment. Well, yeah, this week's been a bit of a break, but trying to split my days at the moment between coding and actually applying for jobs.
Yeah.
Which is always a bit fiddly because I always want to do a little bit more coding before I send out that application. But
you just want to fix that one little thing.
yeah, or even just get the whole bloody project actually just doing something rather than sitting there having a hello world homepage, but lots of stuff in the back end that nobody can see.
No, I understand that, so that's fine. But I'll probably be on this weekend sometime. I'm not sure when though, but I pop in and out.
You know what time the regular scrums are off the top of your head over the weekend?
Okay, so they've just started one. Sam's starting one tomorrow, which is I think 10 o'clock your time. He posted it. He posted it in the general channel.
Yeah.
That was his first post today. So if you click on that one, then you'll see the time that it will be tomorrow. Yeah, I think it's 10 o'clock your time. That's the first weekend one that I'm seeing. But generally, it's now, which is the 12:30 one, your 11:30, which is every day. And people pop in and out of that.
Yeah, and I hadn't realised there was one this time. I would have been trying a lot harder to make it.
And there's the evening one as well, which I've seen normally around 6 o'clock.
There's one that for me is at 4:45. That's the other.
Yeah. That's the Kent
Scrum.
Yeah, the Kent Beck Scrum. So
I love these names. I keep trying to figure out what relationship they have to the Scrum.
No, and they can't. I also because then I think, but what are we actually talking? Which Scrum does that project belong to? I get so confused.
Yeah, well, I guess the idea is that the ones named after people are just general Scrums for Agile Ventures overall. But yeah, it reminds me in Oxford, where I used to live, there was a car wash, a hand car wash, that I just used to walk past a lot. And it was just called something like whatever the area was, like Cowley Hand Car Wash or something. And then whenever it would have been when Obama was kind of just elected, I think, or just about to be, or like riding his biggest wave of popularity, the name just suddenly changed to Obama Hand Car Wash.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, that's marketing for you.
Yeah, that's sophistication in your marketing strategy right there. Yeah, so it just reminds me of that.
Brilliant.
But yeah, yeah, I guess. So I'm not sure if I'll be around at the weekend. I might be around on Saturday.
Cool. Well, if we're around, then let's hook up. And
yeah, it would be nice to, if I'm not doing anything more sensible, to do a bit of coding. At least if there's some pair programming. So basically, I'm trying to be quite strict with myself at the moment in getting social contact because my weekdays are sitting at home alone in my